pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
We do everything in almost real time. All right, thank you. And for the record, the following commissioners are present. We have Commissioner Molnar, Commissioner Pinocci, Commissioner Bukasek, myself, Commissioner Wellborn, and joining us online is Vice President Fielder. I determine a quorum is present. Are there any, the Public Service Commission always welcomes any comment on any topic that is on today's agenda or any other matter that is within the jurisdiction of the Montana PSC. Are there any public commenters in the room? Seeing none, Barb, are there any signed up online? Seeing none online, there are no public commenters today. Next, we will move into announcements. Are there any changes to the agenda? Seeing none, I've got some announcements if nobody else has any to go before. I would like to appoint Joel Turney as our Safety and Security Committee lead. I would like to welcome back Amanda Webster as our interim chief legal. Welcome back, Amanda. Pursuant to Administrative Policy 2-15.1.3, in the event of the position of the executive director is vacant, the president shall assume the duties of the executive director. Accordingly, effective January 26, 2026, yesterday's date, I appoint Jamie Peterson to serve as our interim executive director. Moving along, the PSC office will be closed on January 30th, 2026 for a staff training day. I will appoint myself to represent the Montana PSC on the CREPIC and the Ad Hoc 1920 Committee, and I designate Mike Dalton, who has been working with that group, as my alternate or proxy on the 1920 Ad Hoc Committee, and thanks, Mike, for agreeing to do that. And then our interim, I also approve that our interim director, Jamie Peterson, is approved to, or she is authorized to approve any expenses up to the amount of $2,000 as done in the past. And that's all the announcements I have. Number 6, approval of the minutes from the week of January 13, 2026. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for 2026.
Thank you. And is there a second? Thanks, Commissioner Pinocci.
I second.
It has been moved and seconded that the minute that Commissioner Bukasek seconded the motion. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, so now I guess we are on agenda item number 7, our today's work session. On today's work session item, it is it's to consider, the purpose of today's of this agenda item is to consider a contract with Recite ME, the PDF remediation software to assist our Public Service Commission in bringing agency documents into the Americans with Disabilities Act compliance and federal requirements. And to present on that today is our staff. Welcome.
Thank you and good afternoon, President Wellborn and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Patricia Troyan, PSC's Commission Secretary, and with me is Philip English and Tracy Jorstad, PSC's Computer System Analysts, to whom I refer as Team Awesome. You will find in your work session materials a work session request, which at this point has changed slightly, a staff memo, and a quote from Recite Me, a PDF remediation service. Our request today is that you approve resources for 508 compliance, which at this point includes document and video remediation. Before providing an overview of the federal requirements, I'd like to talk about the steps that we've taken and what is left to accomplish. I would first like to thank commissioners, PSC staff, and state IT staff for their support. The commission approved expenditures which assisted in the PSC leading the 508 compliance effort. Thanks to PSC staff for the hours spent vetting numerous remediation vendors and meetings, demos, and trials. And finally, thank you to Alana Lake, who was also part of in all things PSC. This was intended for her a couple weeks ago, so hope she's listening. And I'd like to turn this over to Philip English to continue.
Thanks, Patricia. Welcome, Philip.
Thank you, Mr. President. President Wellborn, Commissioners. 508 compliance. Where are we? So 508 compliance is a law passed by, let me bring that up. I've got my notes here. In 98, Congress amended the Rehabilitation Act to require federal agencies to make their electronic and information technology accessible to people with disabilities. Later, that was amended to include state and local agencies. The deadline for state agencies to be compliant is coming up in April of this year. Being compliant with the law requires that all electronic documents posted online either be archived or be compliant with screen readers, have certain accessibility features such as proper color contrast and the ability to be read by people with certain visual disabilities. Videos must be captioned properly so that people with hearing issues are able to read them and know who's speaking. There needs to be proper transcripts available for videos for people who are unable to watch them for whatever reason. So there are many pieces to it. Websites need to be navigable for people who are unable to use a mouse. We are at a point that our websites are nearly in compliance. I say nearly because every time we update the website, something needs to be adjusted. But for the most part, our websites, both psc.mt.gov and our internal website, have been remediated by the state. And we're just making adjustments whenever updates are made. However, documents and videos still a big piece of the puzzle and need to be worked on. Go back here. So we have the major pieces that remain, as Patricia mentioned, are documents, video files, and then the ready application, which is primarily documents, but that is being worked on as well. So the money we're asking for would be used to address all of the remaining deficiencies, and then get us to the point where anything that remained could be dealt with on a case-by-case basis, as opposed to being something we need to address all at once, like we have now.
Thank you, Philip. Are there any questions for Philip, or do we want to just wait till the end and then? Tracy, did you have a presentation or anything to add, or just here to answer?
President Wellborn, Commissioners, I have no presentation to add. I am here to answer any questions as they come up.
Thank you. Appreciate all of you for being here. So Commissioners, questions?
Mr. President?
Yeah, go ahead, Vice President, and then Commissioner Molnar has one. Go ahead.
Okay,
Yep,
thank you. I just wanted to offer a little bit of perspective. Staff notified commission leadership and our agency management team, the ACT team, about this issue about 1 year ago. We started looking into this and trying to determine what the agency actually had to do, and knowing that this April 2026 deadline would be coming. So I commend our IT staff and Patricia for getting ahead of this and working on it for the bulk of this past year to figure out best solutions. And I know we've discussed it several times at the ACT meetings over the past year, and there's been a lot of coordination with our staff and the state. I've worked with the state IT director to get to the bottom of some of this. The legislature did appropriate some funding so that the state Department of Administration could do some of the work on the state websites to bring all the agencies into compliance with the aspects that are kind of universal amongst all the agencies, like the state directories and things like that. So this is something that our staff and other agencies have been working on for the past several months, nearly a year that I'm aware of. And I think after asking a few questions of staff regarding this work session and what is left to do, I am under the impression that rather than approve a contract today, it would be best to just approve a capped amount and allow our management team to determine how to best remediate those final pieces of content that are necessary and required. And I'd like to ask, I guess I'll ask Patricia if you feel that would be better in terms of providing some flexibility at this point, or are you actually asking for approval of a specific contract today?
President Wellborn, Commissioner Fielder, thank you for that question. Yes, we would prefer to ask for a lump sum of $50,000 to work with. The quote that you have in your work session materials is kind of becoming a guideline for what we're looking at, what we may need, but it is not, we're not completely decided on what's going to be the best approach here. So Commissioner Fielders, I'd appreciate your motion in that direction. Thank you.
Okay. And a follow up, Mr. President, if I may.
Follow up.
Thank you. So it's my understanding, Amanda Webster did some analysis and sent out an email just this morning that I received anyway. And I know Taryn in the legal division also has been working on this quite a bit. She's our document processor that deals with all these documents. So I think they've got a proposal or a plan for how to address these things. But it's my understanding, and Patricia, correct me if I'm wrong, that the documents that need to be remediated are future documents that the agency will be producing and future videos that the agency will be producing. And then the ones retrospectively that have to be adapted are only the ones that are cited in like orders from the commission where the commission references a past order, then we would have to modify that past order to make it ADA accessible for persons with disabilities. Is that correct?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Okay, so we don't need to do every single piece of content that we have, and we can accommodate folks who request it, even if we don't update all those documents right now. If we get special requests, we can address those on a case-by-case basis as well, can't we?
That is correct.
Okay, I think that answers my questions, President Wellborn. And whenever you're ready, I would like to make a motion kind of along the guideline, the framework that we just discussed.
Okay, thank you, Vice President Fielder. Commissioner Molnar had a question, and then we'll get back to that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm gonna assume Patricia, but anybody can chime in. So the $16,000 a year for 3 years comes to the $48,000 figure. How much of that is for feature documentation that has to be formatted? And how much is for old stuff that would have to be made screen readable?
That Commissioner President Wellborn and Commissioner Molnar, that is yet to be determined. So the quote that you're looking at right now is actually not representative of what we need to do. It's kind of a guideline that we've been working with Recite Me, and we're taking a step back from that particular quote so that we can get a better idea of what we need to do moving forward. What I can say is that moving forward, we have of course, I can't find it when I need it, but 4,800 pages per year that we develop every year moving forward. That's about 600 documents. So that's a given. I think that's a number we can stand by. As far as retroactive, we're not positive exactly what that number looks like. So this quote is more of a guideline now for us to say, without knowing exactly, if we could have this to work with, we can, if we don't use it all for, excuse me, PDF remediation, we can use it towards video, because that's a very big lift as well. We have to remediate video to include captioning, which we don't have the capability, and we can't even find, well, there's services out there, but they're very expensive. So does that answer your question?
Pretty much. I was going to get into screen readable, but it sounds like this is a lot bigger than that, and we don't even know how much it is because we don't know what captioning is going to be on videos. So I'm not going to move my alternative motion, but I would ask, because I asked this question back when I was working on the committee, and I'd like to know what's ever changed. Has there ever been a request from a disabled person for the services that we're going to provide in the way of making documents and former documents readable by people with vision impairment?
President Wellborn, Commissioner Molnar, I am unaware of that. I think a request like that may go through the compliance group before it came to me, though. Philip or Tracy, are you aware of anything?
President Wellborn, Commissioner Molnar, no.
President Wellborn, Commissioners, I am also not aware of any request.
And Chairman Wellborn and members of the committee, when I was on the committee looking at this, that was the exact same answer I got. We may have to spend it. We may have to do it. Doesn't mean we're moving the needle for people that might need this service at some point in the future, because there are many ways to be disabled, and this addresses but one, and that's how we're using our money. So I don't much appreciate the federal intrusion, but I do appreciate that we have to accept it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, Commissioner Vice President Fielder.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will move that the commission approve an allocation of up to $50,000 for the remaining 508 compliance for Americans with disabilities. And I would include in that the decisions on specifically what actions are taken to comply with that federal law are subject to review and discretion of agency management.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
The motion has been moved by Vice President Fielder, seconded by Commissioner Bukasek. Do we need to read that back into the record, or are we good? Okay. Commissioners, all in favor of the motion, please?
Oh, discussion?
Discussion, yes.
Okay, Mr. President.
The speeding ticket again, aren't I?
Yeah, I'd just like to speak to my motion if I may.
Yes, please.
Thank you. So the intent here of this motion is to allow our management to make well-informed decisions as they determine best steps to move forward, but to cap it at $50,000. So if there's any additional expenditures beyond that, or they would need to come back to the commission to let us know what's going on. I think that what I'm interested in the most is that when the federal government passes a law that mandates state or local government to do something, it's my understanding based on U.S. Supreme Court case law that the federal government has to provide those resources. And so I'm still trying to find out specifically if the state has to spend this money, or if there's been a determination from the Department of Administration that they believe that the state has to spend this money, or if there's federal funding available. And so this is why I want to provide some flexibility for management. There are certain requirements that have to be met by April 26. It is probably in the best interest of the public to make a good effort to begin complying with this requirement going forward, starting in April. I think it's April 24th of 2026. And this motion would allow some flexibility, though, so we don't have to necessarily spend all this money. It allows management to determine the best way to address how to use the money effectively for Americans with disabilities.
And thanks for that perspective. Excuse me. Yeah, and I agree with you, Vice President. I mean, although this is, I think we can all agree, this is very important work. A lot of times mandates come with their own challenges, and typically it has to do with the funding of them. And I would be curious if there is funding available, or if not, if there is some that is yet to come from the feds, maybe that can, maybe reimbursed to us through, bridge funding or whatever. But in the meanwhile, I think it's prudent that we move forward, and this seems like a reasonable way to do it, and allow staff to be able to move in real time towards our end date goals here. So I will be supporting the motion as well.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir. Commissioner Molnar.
Vice President Fielder, has anybody asked the federal government if we're going to be reimbursed, as opposed to asking what a policy might be? Just directly ask whoever's in charge of ADA.
Yeah, Mr. President and Commissioner Molnar, that's what I'm trying to find out, is if the Department of Administration has issued guidance on this to the state agencies yet. All I have been able to determine so far is that the legislature appropriated some funding to SITSD to help bring state agencies into compliance, but I have not seen guidance from the Department of Administration on regarding the funding piece on this. And I think it's important to get an answer to that. And I would ask that we have our staff look into that. It's probably more legal staff that needs to look into that. And I know they have a full plate as it is right now, but if we could ask our staff to not let that slip through the cracks. Let's explore that and see if there's anyone has, because I think this affects an awful lot more agencies than just ours. And there's, tens of thousands of dollars per agency at stake here. And I think it needs to be pursued in terms of can we get reimbursed from the federal government, or did Congress allocate funding when they made this change in the law? I don't know the answer to those questions yet, but the motion, as President Wellborn said, will allow us to at least begin moving forward. And I appreciate the staff has kind of singled out some very specific things that we can do in a reasonable time frame with hopefully a reasonable amount of money that would fall well below the cap that's part of this motion today.
President? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Patricia, Vice President Fielder used the term, allows us to move forward. What does move forward mean if we pass this? We still don't know anything. We don't know how much we're going to spend. We don't know where the money's going to come from. We don't know if we get reimbursed. What does move forward mean? Do we sign a contract for no more than 50,000 pursuant to some, whatever it is to be pursuant to, or what are we doing with this?
No, Mr. President, Commissioner Wellborn, excuse me, Mr. President and Commissioner Molnar. My intention with the motion is to give flexibility to allow management to make prudent decisions on what needs to be done. And the $50,000 amount is based on the quote received from Carasoft, which is it's a National State Procurement Bureau certified organization that provided a quote for a 3-year period to be able to do this work 1 year at a time over a 3-year period. And so that was $48,000. That's in your packet today. So instead of contracting with them today, my motion is to just set a cap, allow the commission to set a cap that allows staff to then either pursue that contract with Carasoft if that is if management determines that's the best course forward, or to go some other avenues if there's something less expensive or more effective that's still within that cap. So because we don't know all the details yet, but we do know that we need to do some things to start bringing our documents into compliance. And I think Taryn and Amanda and our IT staff have a pretty good idea on what that first year entails. And it's more than our staff can do in-house.
Did that answer your question, Commissioner Molnar?
In that we're establishing a cap, but we really don't know yet what a cap for what services. We still have some checking out to do there, and from whom. Is it your feeling that the motion is that we have a cap of $50,000 and we're going to issue the contract to recite me? Or are we capping it at 50,000? We're still going to try to figure the services that we need while hoping to get an answer from the federal government as to what they are going to do in the way of reimbursement. And we may choose somebody besides recite me depending on what we find, or it just seems to me to be a pretty big swirl. Maybe I'm just getting old and things swirl more easily than they used to, but I'm not getting it.
Okay.
As to exactly what we're doing here today.
Okay. President Wellborn, Commissioner Molnar, we are definitely on board to sign a contract with Recite Me in the near future. We didn't want to be tied to these specific numbers with just Recite Me. So depending on how much remediation we're going to use Recite Me for, how many documents we need from them, we, with Vice President Fielder's motion, we have more room than to use portions of that $50,000 maybe towards video remediation or closed and live captioning and whatever other things we discover may help with this whole project. So no, I don't have a specific dollar amount that I can say this is going here and this is going there. But we have been working really pretty hard to do the right thing. And I just wanted to offer up that we were the first agency to sign up with SITSD to get our websites remediated. And we were one of the first agencies to join the task force. Philip's been working that task force for us. And Tracy will probably by the middle of March have Eddie sunsetted. And that's going to save the agency $1,600 a month right there. So I just ask that for your trust that we are doing the right things and we're being prudent in our moving forward on this project.
They call me Mr. Trust. Thank you.
Turn your mic up. There you go.
Based on Team Awesome, I totally trust their diligence, integrity, their knowledge, that they're going to do their utmost to optimize all this. I mean, can't trust them. Who can you trust?
Any further discussion? All right, commissioners, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
I'm an aye.
Motion passes 4-1 with Commissioner Molnar dissenting.
No. I said, I'm an aye.
Sorry about that.
Do I look like a grudge-mudgeon to you or just?
Wasn't clear.
Let me back up a minute. The motion passes 5-0, unanimous. All right, thank you, commissioners, and thank you for your presentation today, and
Thank you, commissioners.
appreciate all of your hard work and diligence in keeping the trains on time on this important project. So
Thank you.
thank you. Seeing no other items on our work session agenda, are there any announcements? Any upcoming meetings or special events that the public should be reminded about?
President Wellborn?
Yeah, go ahead, Vice President.
Okay, I was just going to say that I got a narrative or a announcement that the recording had stopped, but now it's restarted. So I think we're on track and the recording hasn't missed anything.
Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out and duly noted. Are there any announcements?
President Wellborn, you might announce that the PSC will be closed this Friday.
Business meeting. This meeting is adjourned.